Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al coming at you with another Showdown video for single game Showdown mode on DraftKings. We're going to look at a lineup here for the Week 2 Sunday Night Football game between the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. We've gone over our strategy a few times. We've put out multiple videos. Everybody seems to continually have questions of why we're putting out the strategy that we're putting out, or why we're taking the line that we're taking in these tournaments and in these head-to-head games. I'm going to talk about, to start, a head-to-head lineup. We're going to talk about how we're going to build our core lineup, and then you work outwardly from there, guys, right? There's a very limited field of players in single game Showdown mode, right? So you've got to figure out, how can we get the guys that we want? Who are we going to target at captain? And then are we going to play two kickers / defenses in our cash game lineup? Which other guys are we going to surround them with? It does look as though DraftKings has boosted the salaries of some of the top players in this game, and maybe it's just because there's some superstar fantasy players who get a massive amount of volume, but let's take a look at the salaries and let's go from there. If you would be so kind, before this game kicks off on Sunday night, if you could drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, make sure you ring that notifications bell so that I can get you back here as many times as I post videos throughout the weeks of NFL that go on and on and on, all the way until January. So this one is a $100 80 tournament, 250 something players, 246 or something like that. Looking at all the different players that we have to choose from for our captain. Now, the way that we've run it, I want my highest raw projected player in my captain spot. Is that going to work every single time? No. Right? There's going to be 3 showdown slates, 4 showdown slates a week. Is that strategy going to work on every single showdown slate for the history that we're going to do this throughout the year? Probably not. Are there going to be players like Jared Cook who might be the highest scoring player on that slate? Yes. Would he score more than Todd Gurley did that night? He did. But can you have projected that before the game's lock? Not likely at all. So realistically speaking, we want to look at who is the highest projected raw scoring guy that we can and plug him into our captain spot. Now, maybe some of you guys have this option in daily fantasy that you can pick the teams after the games have finished. I don't get that. I don't have that sort of luxury. I have to pick them before the games start. They lock for me. I assume they do for you too. I'm being sarcastic for those of you who are going to jump on my mentions and jump in the comment section down below and totally misinterpret what I just said. You have to pick the highest raw projected player for your captain spot. Don't come at me after the game and go, well, you could have picked this guy. Of course you could have picked this guy. After you know the score, it's real easy to put together the perfect lineup. But going for what we know now. Odell Beckham Jr., absolute superstar. He got a ton of targets in week 1 against Jacksonville and against a very tough opponent. Got 111 yards on 15 targets. Dallas, not as tough an opponent as Jalen Ramsey and though I do expect him to get a good amount of volume. His salary is extremely high, obviously, as it should be in this single game showdown. But I think more like 9 to 12 targets is reasonable. I think that he can always, as we've talked about in numerous times in the past, he can take a 6-yard slant, take it 60 yards to the house, and totally blow everything up. I think he is going to be in play for captain, but he's not the primary guy that I want to utilize in my captain spot. Ezekiel Elliott might be the guy that I want to utilize. Yes, the Giants said that they're going to try and do everything they can to stop Ezekiel Elliott from scoring because they want to put the pressure on Dak Prescott to be the guy who's got to carry this team because they feel like they have a better standpoint making Dak beat them with the core of wide receivers that they have than just letting Ezekiel Elliott run all over him. I mean, brilliant. That's not that difficult to decipher. I don't even know why it's news today. That we're seeing on social media. Oh, it's totally on. Dak Prescott wants to beat the job. Of course, they just want to win the game, guys. They're going to execute their game plan as best they can. I see Ezekiel Elliott getting 20 touches in this game on the ground. I see him getting 4, 5, 6 targets through the air because this receiving core isn't all that good. Now, yes, against Carolina, a very tough team for Ezekiel Elliott to get off against. Still averaged 4.6 yards per carry on the ground. Still got his 4 targets through the air. His volume is going to be up this week, in my opinion, than it was last week. I'm expecting over 20 touches here. He's in play for me at captain. Saquon Barkley should get a big volume. With his 6 targets through the air, he's a great pass catcher. 106 yards on the ground, albeit because most of that came with one 68-yard run on 18 carries. Expect 20 touches out of this kid every single week, 11-8 in this showdown. Dak Prescott, I'm probably not going to put a quarterback in my captain spot, and I'm not going to go lower than that. So these are the three choices right here: Odell Beckham, Ezekiel Elliott, and Barkley. And I'm going to go with Ezekiel Elliott. He's my highest raw projected guy. I can understand people wanting to go for Odell Beckham. I think that that's probably a mistake for cash games. I think it's totally fine for tournaments to go with any one of Beckham, Barkley, or Ezekiel Elliott. Those would be the three guys I'm going to choose from. For cash games, head-to-heads, 50-50s, triple-ups, three-man games, I'm looking at Elliott. Now, looking at what else we can fit in here. Now, before all y'all on YouTube throw a fit, I'm going to plug in the two kickers from this game because for cash, typically speaking, I want to start here, and we can build out past that, right? If there are other values, guys like Boyd on Cincinnati, who was the same price as a kicker, starting, playing the majority of snaps, and you know that he's going to get a good amount of targets, leading the Bengals through 2 games in terms of air yards, then yes, play the position player over him. The position player might have a lower floor, but definitely has a higher ceiling than a kicker. Kickers are somewhat capped. A great game for a kicker, you're going to get like 15, 16, 17 fantasy points. A good game for a wide receiver, you're going to get 25, 30 fantasy points. So yes, if you can get a starting wide receiver at that price, then by all means go for it. But with these two teams right now, you know, maybe you got Terrence Williams, not thrilled with him over a kicker. Tavon Austin didn't play a ton of snaps in week 1. Really didn't get, you know, all but like one touch during the game for all the offseason talk of what he was going to do. Not really the route I want to go. So yeah, once again, I'm back to 2 kickers for my base build. And then let's see what we can fit in here, and we'll see what value player we need to go grab. So typically speaking, we have 8.3. Can we fit this and this in there? Maybe. We have 200 left. We can fit, if we go with one of these terrible options down here that aren't playing many snaps, that aren't getting any targets. Kalen Clay, same sort of thing. Probably not the route that you're going to go, so you're going to have to pick this week for Sunday night, as opposed to last few weeks where you could just slam the best player in the captain spot, 2 kickers, and play the best 3 position players on the board. You don't have that option this week, so at least they tightened up the salaries. You have to pick between one of these two. I'm probably going to pick Odell. As much as I like Barkley, I want to see if I can fit Odell Beckham into a cash game lineup. Cole Beasley, I think, is going to be extremely important to this team. I mean, you could go Barkley, Beasley, and then you still can't fit him in, so never mind that. So I want Beckham. Can we get Beasley? And then 5K, you're going to get snaps out of Gallup. He didn't get very many targets in week 1. Alan Hearns, same sort of deal. Only 3 targets in week 1. The play that I think can open things up here. Where is he? Where's the tight end that I was looking at? Chat, help me out. Help me out, chat. Was it Swaim? There we go. Played a bunch of snaps, got 4 targets, only 1,800 against the Giants, who we've talked about in previous years being a flowchart team. Now, a flowchart team, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, are the New York Giants playing football this weekend? Yes. Are they on the slate? Yes. Does the team that's playing against them roster a tight end, and does he play any snaps? Yes. If so, then you can definitely, you know, expect a higher projected touchdown rate for that player, because the Giants, the Browns, the Dolphins, the Broncos, all really bad at defending the tight end spot, and they get a ton of looks. Now, Rico Gathered didn't play last week. He was inactive, coach's decision. We'll see if he plays this week. If he does at 200 and you projected he's going to play a lot of snaps, then obviously that opens up the superstar lineup for you. But if not, you know, I mean, we can look. If we have him, we can just play all the dudes, right? And you know how much I love to just play all the dudes in cash, right? So, like, there's your lineup if Gathers dresses and you expect he's going to play over 50% of snaps, get 2-3 targets. He doesn't need to do much to really get you there. You can go with Gallup at 44. You can go with Swaim at 18. Try and hope for his 4 targets again at 1,800. He does not need to do much to help you out here. And then you get 10K. You can afford Eli Manning. You can't really quite get to Dak Prescott with him. But that's kind of how a cash game lineup is going to look this week, at least for Sunday night, just based on the pricing of these players. Now, looking at tournaments, you don't really want to go with 2 kickers in tournaments. You might cash a tournament with 2 kickers, but you're not really going to have a chance at the top. You need to get guys, and you need to take a couple more chances. So maybe 1 kicker or 1 defense. Looking at a guy again, like Swaim here, giving you 6.8K for the other 2 spots. maybe going with a quarterback, somebody like Prescott, giving us 3,200 left to spend. Thompson, yeah, he played a little bit. Williams, this is a much tougher salary structure than we've had the last few. So I like what they did here. It's making the decisions a lot tougher for this week, but that's kind of the strategy that I'm going with this Sunday Night Football for the single game showdown. That's what you're going to do, right?
Let's go. These showdowns have been profitable. I'm hoping it keeps up this week.
J. Rogers 617, thank you very much for the continued support. And Cletus getting involved with the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you very much too, sir. Welcome to the VIP. That's kind of the route that I'm looking, guys. Again, 2 kickers, 2 defenses for my cash game lineups. Picking 2 of those 4 spots to try and open up enough salary to be able to afford the guys that I need to give me the high floor for cash. Tournaments, obviously, you're going to cut down to maybe 1 kicker. If you can cut down to no kickers, fine. But kickers are a valuable source of points for these showdown slates. So thank you guys for joining me. And Chai Jello with a tier 2 sub for 13 months. We will try to ship it this Sunday night. Thank you very much for being here, guys. Leave a comment in the section down below. Drop a like on this video. Subscribe. Hit that notifications bell. And I'll catch up to you later. Bye.